Hey everybody, this is my 125 gallon native tank, and I've been treating it for an outbreak of Columnaris recently, and I've been treating it with Maricin 2. It's an antibiotic that I want to say is gram negative, which is what you need to treat this particular infection. So today's just going to be a little bit of an update video. I just put my final dose of the medication in. It needs 24 more hours. And then I'm going to get in there and do a water change, and we'll go from there. So far I haven't really seen a lot of change since we got past the initial outbreak and mass die-off. Unfortunately, I did not get my camera ready in time, but this big crayfish you can see sticking out of that cave just ousted the crayfish that had been in that cave. They fought for a moment, and the former inhabitant apparently lost and scurried away. And I think that might, yeah, that's him up there. You can barely almost see him through all of the algae growing on the glass. But that was a little bit of drama we just missed. You can also see all of the algae growing all over the glass. I was not kidding when I said that tilapia in the tank was a fantastic algae eater. Did a great job of keeping this tank clean. Now, I always did get algae growing on the glass, but it didn't grow to the length where you can actually see like the shimmering waves of the water current moving across the hair algae. It's really pretty, actually. It really is beautiful stuff, but I like to be able to see in my tank. So that's going to have to come out of there. I'm going to have to find myself some other algae eater. Just real quickly, though, I want to point out a few things. One, for all the speculation that I'm just going to abandon this tank and tear it down and start over, you can all stop thinking that. That's not happening. I'm not revamping this tank into something else. This is going to remain a native tank. The stock load and what direction we go with the tank is certainly still up in the air, but it is by all means is going to remain a native tank. So all the speculation about what I might do with this tank, put Oscars in it or whatever, that's, we can just stop all that. This is going to stay a native tank. The other thing I wanted to point out is I'm noticing some markings on the bass here. It's kind of hard to tell, but if you look just on his side, sort of in front of the dorsal fin, you can see some scrape marks. I'm assuming, once again, that it is this Mayan cichlid. I can't imagine anything else in this tank being aggressive enough to put marks on the smallmouth bass. And they don't look like a crayfish was taking a swipe at it or anything like that either. It definitely looks like marks from being struck at by another fish. So I'm guessing that this Mayan cichlid is now getting so problematic that it's actually becoming aggressive with the bass. It's growing like a weed. It's getting really big. So it's very soon going to be time to do something with this. I do have something in mind that I'm going to do with the Mayan cichlid, but I'm not going to get into that just now. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it, because before I do anything, I've got to make sure that I've got this Columnaris under control and killed off out of this tank before we move on. So that's really all I've got to say as far as the update. I did have someone ask me about all the little crayfish I put in here, and I do see them from time to time. But I wouldn't be surprised if some of the really smaller ones are gone because of the bass eating them, or possibly even other crayfish devouring them. But I do still have plenty of little crayfish in the tank, and those, of course, are easy enough to collect more of, and I can always add, small crayfish to this tank anytime I want. Don't really think of anything else off the top of my head that I can say. I am going to wait until I've got this Columnaris outbreak under control, and then we will go from there, and we'll see what happens. Again, I've got a long way to go before we start making plans on what I'm going to do next in this tank. I got some thinking I need to do, and, we're just going to have to weigh it out that way. So make sure you're subscribed. That way you won't miss any of the updates I've got on this tank. I am actually getting ready to shoot an update on my opaline gourami that is in my Black Ghost knifefish tank. And, of course, I'll be doing updates on this native tank here in the very near future as well. So if you're subscribed, you won't miss any of those. So thanks again for watching this one, and I will see you real soon on the next one.